Hello, my name is Yulia. Not long ago, I heard about a mountain lake that is remarkably young by historical standards, formed as a result of a volcanic eruption. Usually, when we hear stories like this, they are measured in millions of years, but Coldwater Lake is only 45 years old. That fact inspired me to come here for a walk. On May 18th, 1980, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake struck beneath the active Mount St. Helens. It triggered a massive collapse of the mountain's northern slope, creating powerful volcanic mud flows. Within 15 minutes, a column of ash rose 80,000 feet into the air. The flow rushed down the mountain at speeds of up to 150 miles per hour. Tons of ash, mud, and debris, reaching depths of up to 600 feet in some places, buried the North Fork Toutle River and blocked the Coldwater Creek Valley. This event permanently changed the mountain. The summit of Mount St. Helens dropped by approximately 1,300 feet, and two new lakes appeared at its base, Coldwater Lake and Castle Lake. As I take in this peaceful landscape, so calm in its stillness, breathing the clean mountain air and enjoying the silence, it is hard to believe that such dramatic changes took place here not so long ago. Nothing is permanent. In just a few hours, rock can crumble and slip through our fingers as sand, and turbulent streams can change their course, eventually finding calm in the mirrored surface of lakes. Sometimes, from ash and destruction, something new and beautiful is born, like Coldwater Lake. From this viewpoint, an incredible panorama opens up, one you want to dive into completely, absorb with every cell of your body, follow with your eyes, and explore even its most hidden corners. It feels like a poster unfolding before me, one that intrigues and invites with the promise of an unforgettable walk. It promises to wrap me in warm sunlight and brush my face with a gentle breeze, to surprise me with color and calm me with the quiet lapping of water, to overwhelm with scenery and to reveal its hidden life. A winding wooden boardwalk charts its path like a snake. Wave-like, smooth, and confident, it quietly follows the contours of the land, bending, embracing, flowing along the surface, never drawing attention to itself, blending in, allowing you to fully surrender to the beauty around you. Bathed in sunlight, the wooden walkway truly does resemble a giant serpent, frozen in place as it warms itself in the sun. The Birth of the Lake Boardwalk runs for just over half a mile and includes interpretive exhibits that tell the story of how Coldwater Lake was formed by the volcanic eruption. Another bend in the trail leads me to a circular viewing platform shaded by tree branches. This secluded spot, hidden from curious eyes, immediately makes me want to call it a lover's gazebo. It feels strange that it's empty, as if the outline of a couple had just been here moments ago. Coldwater Lake occupies a basin carved by a glacial valley. The surrounding ridges rise steeply to more than 1,000 feet above the water. The lake stretches for about 5 miles, with a maximum width of about half a mile. Its deepest point reaches approximately 180 feet. The water surface lies at an elevation of about 2,500 feet above sea level, and the lake covers an area of roughly 770 acres. A walk along the mountainside beside the lake is striking in its contrasts. After slipping into the cool shade of a dark, dense forest, the trail suddenly emerges onto a sunlit hill with an incredible view of the water and the mountains. From a monochrome world into a world of unrestrained color. Just moments ago, the eye was catching dark, star-shaped silhouettes of maple leaves, searching for balance in the few rays of light that managed to break through the thicket. And then, suddenly blinded by the dance of silvery ripples on the water, echoed by poplar leaves trembling in the wind. The abundance, youth, and energy of the vegetation are visible not only in the endless range of greens, the brightness of flowers, and the height of the grass. At the tips of maple branches, orange leaves appear, and the young shoots of spruces are so tender that they bend downward and sway in the wind. Days will pass, and the maples will replace their shy blush with green, and the conifer branches will straighten, and later still, the leaves will turn yellow and dry. But for now, a carnival of youth and freshness delights the eye. At a certain moment, the trail seems to align with the path on the opposite shore. A sense of continuity and infinity appears. But suddenly, the cold blade of the lake cuts through this deceptive connection, and the opposite shore pulls away mercilessly. Instead, rising from the grass on a nearby height appears the base of a massive tree. It is hard to imagine such a green giant once growing here on a mountaintop scoured by sun and wind. This stump feels like a symbol, a monument to the eruption of Mount St. Helens. Once again, symbolic fragments. A sinewy tree appears to have turned to stone under the force of the elements. And yet it has given birth to new life. A walk along the shoreline begins to feel increasingly like a visit to a museum. The remarkable driftwood of old trees takes the form of sculptures displayed openly in the water. Bathed in the gentle applause of the waves, they stand proud and unmoved, revealing their strength and symmetry. Like miniature volcanoes, they draw the mind back to the story of this place's origin. At the same time, they invite reflection on the finiteness of all things, reminding us to value the moment and the beauty granted by the Creator while it is still within reach. The great eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980 remains one of the most devastating volcanic events in U.S. history. According to some geological estimates, future eruptions may be even more destructive. Despite this, the surrounding area remains popular with visitors. Vacation rentals, fishing, boating, swimming, rock climbing, camping, picnicking, hiking, and cycling through the National Forest and State Park attract thousands of people each year. A giant, fresh green leaf suddenly caught my attention. It had turned its entire surface toward the sun, like a solar panel, casting a shadow across the boardwalk and resembling a curious beach umbrella. The stream vibrates in the sunlight. A sunlit fern tip seems to act as a directional sign. The source disappears into the thicket. Soon, the small stream will join the cold waters of the lake. pair of butterflies circles in the air, and it becomes impossible to look away from these delicate white creatures. I follow them with my eyes. Once again, the remains of trees draw my attention. Now they resemble entire monumental ensembles. There by the shore, a pier or perhaps a small bridge. It seems to hint at something, to prepare, to warn. Suddenly, to the left, from behind the bushes, a dragon's jaws emerge, gargoyles from a medieval castle. Its body resembles a massive wave, a force sweeping everything in its path, just as it happened here half a century ago. The soothing lapping of water. Ripples like gentle folds in freshly pressed satin, deep sea blue in color. The opposite shores feel velvety, as if covered in moss. Bird song and the buzzing of insects. A riot of color and the scent of meadow grasses. And above it all reigns a calm, cloudless sky. The sun playfully interacts with the trail and tall grasses. Each time I notice that I step out of shadow into light, shaped like a heart, and then back again. In moments like these, I feel gratitude to the Creator for life, for the ability to see and to feel, to rejoice in simple things. Massive logs, sawn and slightly shifted like faithful guards, allow me to slip through a narrow gap to visit, if only briefly, and glimpse their world. Before me, a dried up waterfall. A path of stone carved by a raging flow, and yet it feels as though it were designed by an architect. Now, only scattered plants cling to life, searching for moisture in the cracks between boulders. I lift my eyes upward, searching for the beginning, somewhere there where rock seems to support the sky. Then I lower them and see the end in the deep basin of the mountain lake. I imagine the power and force of an untamed element, capable of carving this entire path. A beam of light seems to cut across the trail. It divides my entire world at this moment into two geometric shapes. To the left, a barren, dry triangle of sand. To the right, a life-giving trapezoid of clear sky, cool water, and lush green. You can watch water forever because it is always in motion. Color, rhythm, and pace change. The scent, the sound. In the white crests on the surface, you can imagine the movement of fish, or toss a stone and count how many times it skips. And what about stone? It is not as pliable or mobile. Yet the rock above the trail held my attention for a long time and awakened the child within me. First, I remembered the feeling of softened, warm clay yielding beneath my fingers. And then wet, slippery earth slowly taking shape in my hands, becoming a piece of rock like this. So whose image has frozen within this boulder? I begin to recognize a face, a mouth, a nose, hollowed eye sockets, something of a sphinx, a helmet from a space saga. I move on, yet my thoughts linger on the rock. If I return here another time, the light will fall differently, and I may well see something entirely new. From the rock on the left, the head of a giant lizard suddenly appears. Like petrified remains. I step closer and recognize the same wood, shaped and sculpted by time and the elements. A desert-like landscape high above cold water alternates with true, dense forest. Moisture, coolness. A sea of ferns, their tips rolling like waves. Deep saturated greens. Tall, slender trees stretch toward the sky. But where is it? It seems to be everywhere. Even down below, reflected in the lake's mirror through the silhouettes of trees. Soft light drapes the landscape in a veil of calm and harmony. Pastel ash-gray tones, a restrained, refined shimmer of ripples. The soothing whisper of wind. And an astonishing sense of depth, where water and sky remain separate only because of the mountain ridges between them. The rhythmic swaying of grasses. A gentle dance of butterflies to the delicate solo of birds. The trail winds up the mountain higher and higher. The lake's mirror thirstily absorbs the sky. It feels as though I could reach out and touch the mountains, bathed in peach-colored light, with my hand. The wind moves through the treetops and through my hair. I feel uplifted. I imagine myself as a little bee flying from flower to flower, like a bird gliding between the branches. The forest beneath my feet seems to stretch its branches toward me in greeting, as if drawing me into an embrace. Among the white and yellow variety of meadow flowers framing the waters of Coldwater Lake, The tall purple bells of foxglove stand out most vividly. Stately, bright, bold. If we imagine the meadow as a city, foxgloves would surely rise above the landscape, like the bell towers of cathedrals. Digitalis, derived from foxglove, long remained the only essential medication for treating chronic heart failure in humans. Foxgloves are also host plants for many species of butterflies. And their large blossoms provide shelter for insects on cold nights, as the temperature inside the bell is significantly higher than the surrounding air. Descending toward the lake, held in the embrace of mountains, beneath a clear, boundless sky, I feel safe, trust, and calm. I realize myself as an inseparable part of an immense, complex, yet beautiful world. Grateful to the Creator for the chance to be here and now.